Hey everybody, happy Saturday. This is Tonetta, the owner of Tonetta Buys Houses, and I want to say good morning to you all. And I'm coming to you all with another video this morning, and this is actually, believe it or not, our last video actually in this particular series about the Missouri's Landlord-Tenant Law. Once again, this is the rights and responsibilities of landlords and tenants, and like I said, this last one is talking about discrimination. If you all want your own copy of this, definitely check out Eric Smith's website, the Missouri Attorney General, so that you can get your own copy. You know, you get free to download. You can always get them free as well. And let me kind of go over kind of what we've already talked about in this series. Okay. We've talked about, of course, the general obligations of the landlord and the renter, or the tenant, whichever one you want to say. We also talked about the lease, the written agreement, and the oral agreement. We've talked in the video about the expiration of the lease. We talked about subleasing and the security deposit, repairs and eviction. And this last one, like I said, is talking about discrimination. And if for some reason you missed some of those videos, definitely go back to, of course, check them out. They're here on this page. I definitely do not mind. And they're also on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Tonetta Clay, and it's my name. And I will actually put it in the description of this video. And also link it to one of the videos talking about renting, landlord-tenant laws, that kind of thing on my YouTube channel, just in case you all are interested, because those are kind of central. You can just go there and find it. I put it that way. So like I said, this one is talking about discrimination. But before I say that, I do want to also let you know, of course, I'm a wholesaler and investor. I'm here, of course, based out of St. Louis, but I can, of course, wholesale and invest anywhere across the continental USA. So definitely, if you know anybody that's looking to, of course, sell their property, house or apartment complex, or four-family flat, that kind of thing, definitely make sure that you have them reach out to me, Tonetta, with Tonetta Buys Houses, so I can go ahead and get them taken care of. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get into the discrimination. The first thing, of course, it says landlords cannot refuse to sell, rent, sublease, or otherwise make housing available based on a renter's race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin. Landlords also cannot charge some individuals higher rent or falsely state that the housing is no longer available for discriminatory reasons. However, there are some exceptions to this rule. If you believe you have been a victim of housing discrimination, contact one of these agencies, and I'll go ahead and give you the agency shortly. But I want to talk more about of course, like I said, my experience with discrimination, whether it's personal, me working with the clients that I work with. I know that some landlords will, of course, not want to rent to those who are, of course, 18, 19, 20, 21, those who are younger, or at least over 18, but they're just younger, because of fear that they may not be responsible enough to, of course, take care of the apartment, or they may not pay for it. They may have other folks staying with them, or whatever it's going to be. I've, of course, encountered that when I, of course, was doing my managing the apartment building where I worked at before. I guess as I'm a social worker, I managed that apartment for about six years, I think. But like I said, I definitely did run into some landlords who you can tell were very hesitant to, of course, rent to somebody who was younger. I guess I put it that way. Even though we, of course, backed the young person that was, of course, getting the apartment. We always did, of course, especially if we knew that they were, of course, on target. They're working, they're doing well, whether they had kids or not. But as long as they're more responsible, doing well, and working and trying to save, taking care of their room there in that building, then of course we would, of course, back them. But like I said, some landlords still, of course, they didn't come out and outright say that they could not stay there because they were under 21, or they were 20 or 19, 22, that kind of thing. But you knew that was usually the reason for that. I know I've seen of course, I'm a social worker. I've been a social worker for over 20 years now, working with those who are, of course, felons, who have backgrounds, just getting out of prison, that kind of thing. We all know how hard that is for those felons and those folks getting out of prison to, of course, get out and then try to find some place to stay. A lot of landlords do not want to rent to them, of course. Now, I'm not sure if that's part of the part that's talking about how it's illegal, or is like one of the exceptions. It could be an exception, which in my mind, I doubt it. I know there are many people, of course, who are in jail, that kind of thing, have already served their time, who've already, of course, went all on that path, is paid the restitution back as far as being in jail and serving their time, they shouldn't have to get out to, of course, can I find housing? Can I find a job? We know that people are discriminating against them because they, of course, have a criminal background. I understand that there are certain places that you may not be able to, of course, get a job, that kind of thing. I guess if you had assault charges, that kind of thing, that's why you were in jail. You're getting out trying to work in a nursing home or work with people, that kind of thing. Sometimes those kind of jobs are hard to get, whether or not whether you have a criminal background. Like I said, sometimes those jobs are kind of hard to get, which I understand that. But there's other jobs, manufacturing and those kind of things. But going back to the housing, I know that there are some landlords who have, of course, said that they couldn't rent to so-and-so because of whatever reason. In my mind, I was like, again, I'm a social worker, so I see a lot of folks getting out of jail on probation, all this kind of stuff going on. They need housing too. It's not like they just gonna get out and all of a sudden go stay back with family. They may not want them to stay there, or the family may have moved on, or that kind of thing. You never know. All kind of things occur. They need some place to stay too, and why not rent to somebody who's getting out of jail or have got out of jail maybe like the year before, got a job, and showing that they can be a responsible citizen. There is no reason why we can't do that. But like I said, I know there are some landlords who do not want to do that. I can tell you that. I know that's illegal, I'm sure, even though it said that there may be some exceptions. I'm not sure what those exceptions are because it does not list it here. But like I said, in my mind, knowing that people need housing, that people cannot just get out of jail sometimes to go stay with their family, friends, again, that kind of thing, and they need some other stable housing, and they want to, of course, grow up themselves and, of course, be the man or the woman that they know that they can be, but don't want to be discriminated against with jobs or housing because of that. And like I said, I know there's been some landlords who have said they will not rent to those kind of people. And like I said, going back to the younger people, the 20, 21, 22, sometimes 18, that kind of thing, who are trying to get on their own, get their own apartment, be more responsible, grow up themselves. Some of those people who may have children, because of course the young ladies that I work with, they were single moms. They did have one or more children, and sometimes the landlords did not want to rent to them either. I can tell you that. Like I said, they may not have come out and straight and said that, but you knew they fit all the other criteria, and that's the only thing that they would have been able to speak about. I guess I put it that way. And I'm just here to tell you, for those landlords who, of course, and myself being a potential landlord as well in the future, I know that. But like I said, definitely speaking to those landlords who may have discriminated against somebody because of the country that they were from, or because they're black and they didn't want any black folks there in the building, or because they're Mexican or Indian or African or whatever it was, and they didn't want those kind of races or people in their building, or somebody that was non-denominational, or they only wanted Catholic folks or that kind of thing. You cannot do that with housing, especially when it comes time to rent and buy and that kind of thing. But like I said, I know we are all people as well, and I know there's a lot of folks out there that still have racial biases against women or men or that kind of thing, or biases against those of other religions and other origins and other criminal backgrounds, and those who have kids and that kind of thing as well. We all know that. But of course, I'm just here to give you this video on this last particular section talking about discrimination in housing, just for those landlords out there to, of course, open your minds up to different kinds of people sometimes. Some folks may not want to rent to seniors either. Like I said, I've seen that. I work with seniors right now. A lot of them have issues, of course, sometimes finding housing because they're on a set income, Social Security, that kind of thing, and the landlord deems that they may not have enough to pay for the rent every month, which I understand that there's deposits and that kind of thing. As long as the person can reach all that, there shouldn't be an issue as to why you cannot rent to them, unless they've been evicted, of course, from all the apartments they've been in, or they've had drug usage at the other apartment, or something along those lines, of course. When you're doing your background, your history, going back on the person, talking to like past past landlords and that kind of thing to find out what kind of tenant they were, of course that may bring a red flag. I guess I put it that way. But for those folks who do not have that in their background, and who are straight up trying to, of course, rent and find some place to stay for them and their families, somebody who's trying to, of course, get their lives back together after they've been out of jail and trying to get, of course, work and trying to become a normal citizen, an adult and that kind of thing, and step on up and be the man or woman that they know they can be, they need chances too. And we, of course, need landlords out there, not just here in St. Louis, but, of course, landlords across this whole U.S., who can, of course, step up and sometimes take that chance on that person to, of course, see what they're going to do while they're in that apartment. A lot of times you, of course, hear this, you hear that. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to be that same way. All single mothers are not the same. All people who get out of jail are not the same. All people on probation are not the same. All Catholics or all blacks or all whites or whoever it is are not the same. There are a lot of us who, of course, are trying to, of course, get our life together, do all these kind of things. But if you keep putting up, putting up barriers as to why they can't live in your particular subdivision, your particular apartment building, whatever the case may be, you know what? I mean, that is, of course, discrimination. But of course, you won't get far in life, I guess I put it that way, just to let you all know. Of course, there's going to come some time when you're going to have to be faced with all that. I don't care if it's here on this earth or wherever you want to call heaven or wherever you're going. But like I said, you definitely have to answer that to your God or to whatever you're going to do at some point. I'm pretty sure that. I'm not here to scare anybody, anything like that, but I'm just trying to tell you that in renting and that kind of thing, when you're trying to have property and you see people out there trying to get ahead and move ahead and trying to do things with their life, don't hold them back in that particular arena, I guess I put it that way. Yes, I know there are some that may not have a good rental history. Of course, I know you have to look at that as well. But like I said, definitely make sure that you're at least trying to, at least at some point, give somebody a chance to, of course, rent from you, regardless of if there's what their sex is or what their disability is or what their familial status is, or if they're from India or Africa or whoever, black or wherever they are. Give people a chance at some point. You'll never know you'll never know how that tenant may be with you until you've, of course, rented to that person. So I just want to say that little spiel, I guess, before I got off of here. But like I said, this is our last section about the Missouri Landlord and Tenant Laws, and it's talking about discrimination. Now, they do have numbers and information down here for those, and I'll probably type this up under this video in the description as well. But for those who, of course, may have been discriminated against because of, or feel that they have been discriminated against, unless the landlord straight up came out and said, I can't rent to you because you're black or whatever else, then, of course, you may have a case. I'm pretty sure of that. But like I said, if you feel like you've been discriminated against and you want to, of course, get some help and get somebody to, of course, assist you in this process, to talk to this landlord who you were trying to contact, who denied you for whatever reason, like I said, you definitely have the right to do so, and it's your free right to do so. Some of these services are, of course, free on here that you can, of course, obtain information from, and some of them you may have to pay for. Just keep that in mind. But the first one is the Missouri Human Rights Commission. That toll-free number, because they have several numbers listed, so I'll just give you the regular toll-free number, is 1-877-781-4236. Then it's the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and that discrimination hotline is 1-800-669-9777. Then we have the Housing Authority of Kansas City. For those residents, it's 816-968-4100. And then we have the Metropolitan St. Louis Equal Housing Opportunity Council. Let me see. It says here for residents of St. Louis City and County, St. Charles, Franklin, and Jefferson counties, that number is 314-534-5800 or a 1-800-965-3462. And if you have to go back and rewind this, definitely do so. But I'm going to also type this, or either one of the two, either type it or take a picture of this page and put it up under I guess, like in the comments. And also, I'm here in St. Louis, so what I've used for a lot of my clients, and personally I've used it as well for housing discrimination in the past. The legal services of Eastern Missouri will take on your case for free, but you do have to fit the income. I believe they still have the income criteria, I guess I put it that way. And also make sure that you have a case and that kind of thing. They have attorneys there that can, of course, work with you. That number is 1-800-444-0514. So I want to say thank you again for tuning in to all these videos that I've done in this series about the Missouri Landlord and Tenant Laws. So that we can know the obligations and the responsibilities of both the landlord and the tenant here in Missouri when you're renting or renting out your property. So I just want to thank you again. And like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm Tonetta with Tonetta Buys Houses. And if you want to see this entire series, of course, I do have it's on this page, but you'll have to kind of go through all the weeks and all the days and that kind of thing. But an easier spot for you to get to is probably on YouTube. My YouTube channel, like I said, I'll put that information in the description as well, and also link one of my videos so that you all can get there quickly, I guess I'd say that. So that you all can check them all out and share them with your friends if you need to from my YouTube channel and that kind of thing as well, because I'm looking to grow that as well. So if you definitely haven't checked that out, definitely go and and subscribe to that channel. Tonetta Clay, and is on YouTube. Once again, like I said, I want to thank you all for tuning in to this particular series, talking about Missouri landlord and tenant laws, the obligations and the responsibilities of the landlord and the tenant or the renter. So once again, I'm Tonetta Clay with Tonetta Buys Houses. If you know anybody that's looking to sell their property across the U.S., please definitely have them come contact me. I'm Tonetta again in St. Louis, so definitely have them contact me, and all my information and contact numbers are on the page here as well. All right, y'all, take care. Bye-bye.